Hello and thank you for joining us. During our brief training session, we will focus on the policy management capabilities found within Webroot SecureAnywhere Business Endpoint Protection. Our agenda will begin with the policies overview. We will then use a live management console to demonstrate methods and tips for better policy management. To get started, we will use the SecureAnywhere Business Endpoint Protection Management Console and browse to the Policies menu tab. Policies define the behavior of Webroot SecureAnywhere on the endpoints where it is deployed. For example, you might create a policy only for the IT department, or you might have policies based upon geographic area. Administrators with appropriate permissions can create policies and assign them to individual endpoints or to a group of endpoints. Policy names must be unique, so it's a good idea to plan your policies before creating them to avoid conflicts later. To view policy settings, open the SecureAnywhere Endpoint Protection Policies tab. Find the policy in the list and double-click anywhere in the row. A secondary window will appear that contains all of the policy setting options for the policy that has been selected. The basic configuration settings control the behavior of the Webroot SecureAnywhere software on managed endpoints. Looking at scan schedule, these enable the admin to adjust the scan frequency, time, as well as various other performance settings related to how the client behaves during scan. Scan settings give the admin even more advanced control over scanning performance. These settings include very fine-grained options that will allow the admin to specify how the client behaves related to rootkit detection, right-click behavior within Windows Explorer, whether or not the client favors low memory and CPU usage instead of faster scanning, as well as more advanced cleanup and threat removal options. Looking now at self-protection, this option prevents malicious software from modifying the Webroot SecureAnywhere program settings and processes. If the client detects that another piece of software is trying to interfere with its functions, it starts a protective scan to look for threats. Scan protection also updates the internal self-protection to prevent incompatibilities with other software. We recommend that you leave self-protection at the maximum setting unless you use other security software in addition to Webroot SecureAnywhere. If you use additional security software, adjust self-protection to medium or minimum. Next, we have access control. Access control enables admins to prevent unauthorized end-user access to the Webroot SecureAnywhere client. These options include password protection for user-initiated scans, using CAPTCHA key entry to modify the configuration, whether to allow non-administrative configuration or uninstall, and finally, whether or not non-administrative users can access anti-malware and advanced features. Heuristic settings enable you to adjust the level of threat analysis that Webroot SecureAnywhere performs when scanning managed endpoints. You can adjust heuristics for the local drive, USB drives, the internet, the network, CD, DVDs, and when managed endpoints are offline. SecureAnywhere provides three types of heuristics: advanced, age, and popularity. Advanced heuristics analyze new programs for suspicious actions that are typical of malware. Age heuristics analyze new programs based on the amount of time the program has been in the community. Legitimate programs are generally used in the community for a long time, but malware often has a short lifespan. Popularity heuristics analyze new programs based on statistics for how often the program is used in the community and how often it changes. Legitimate programs do not change quickly, but malware often mutates at a very rapid pace. Malware may install as a unique copy on every computer, making it statistically unpopular. The real-time shield blocks known threats that are listed in Webroot's threat definitions and community database. If the shield detects a suspicious file, it opens an alert and prompts you to block or allow the item. If it detects a known threat, it immediately blocks and quarantines the item before it causes damage to your managed endpoint or steals its information. The Behavior Shield analyzes the applications and processes running on your managed endpoints. If it detects a suspicious file, it opens an alert and prompts you to block or allow the item. If it detects a known threat, it immediately blocks and quarantines the item before it causes damage to managed endpoints or steals its information. The Core System Shield monitors system structures of your managed endpoints and ensures that malware has not tampered with them. If the shield detects a suspicious file trying to make changes, it opens an alert and prompts you to block or allow the item. If it detects a known threat, it immediately blocks and quarantines the item before it causes damage. The Web Threat Shield protects your monitored endpoints as users surf the internet. If it detects a website that might be a threat, it opens an alert that allows the user to decide whether they want to block the site or continue despite the warning. When users search a search engine, this shield analyzes all the links on the search results page, then displays an image next to each link that signifies whether it's a trusted site with a green check mark or a potential risk using a red X. The Identity Shield protects sensitive data that might be exposed during online transactions on your managed endpoints. You can change the behavior of the Identity Shield and control what it blocks. The Identity Shield will prevent session data from from being sent outside the browser window. Next, we look at the firewall. The Webroot firewall monitors data traffic traveling out of your managed endpoint's ports. It looks for untrusted processes that try to connect to the internet and steal personal information. It works with the Windows firewall, which monitors data traffic coming into your managed endpoints. The Webroot firewall looks for data going out of the managed endpoint. With both the Windows and Webroot firewall turned on, data on your managed endpoints has complete inbound and outbound protection. The Webroot firewall is pre-configured to filter traffic on your managed endpoints. It works in the background without disrupting normal activities. If the firewall detects unrecognized traffic, it opens an alert, and you can block the traffic or allow it to proceed. The final option is the user interface. It's very simple and allows the admin to control whether or not the GUI is displayed to the end user. In the final part of our training, we will look at some basic options in the Policies menu. We will look at creating, deleting, renaming, and copying policies. To create a policy, simply click the Create button. A secondary window appears that allows you to name a policy as well as provide a brief description. If the admin should want to delete a policy, simply select the one that you would like to remove and then click the Delete button. A secondary window will appear that asks you to confirm your delete. To rename a policy, again simply select the policy you'd like to rename, select the Rename button, and a secondary window appears that will allow you to modify the policy name. And finally, to copy a policy, simply click the Copy button. You will select which policy you want to copy, the new name for the policy, as well as a brief policy description. Once you're finished, click the Create Policy button. When making changes to any policy settings, you will first see the Live setting on the left underneath the Live column. If you want to make a change, simply click into the Pending column, modify the setting. As you click off, the pending new setting will now show in the Pending column. When the admin desires, saving the changes will commit the changes to the system, and then a secondary button appears that allows you to promote pending changes to live when so desired. In this way, the admin and the IT department will have very good visibility into the pending changes and the change management process. In summary, as we've seen, there are numerous policy management options to control every aspect of your endpoint protection. This fine-grained control element helps promote a very flexible policy approach, and yet the default policy options exist to offer a solid and usable baseline. They help speed adoption and deployment of the solution. As always, if you have more questions, please contact your nearest Webroot representative, and thank you for watching our short video.